Okay, hi guys. We'll just come off camera there. I'm going to say hello while people are being let in. Faye and Mark, if you want to come off camera. On camera, I should say.
We are on camera.
Come on camera, not off camera. On camera. Brilliant. Just wait on Faye to join us.
I'm here, Wendy.
Oh, I can see you now.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll just give everybody another minute just to join. And Tracy will let you guys in. So we're delighted to have you guys here with us today for Battle of the Boots, the online versus in-person beauty trade shows. So I hope you have all your questions ready. I know some of you have already sent questions in, which is great. So we will get as many of them answered as possible. But you will have be able to reach out to Faye or Mark after this to ask any of your questions individually as well. So, okay, so we'll kick off because I'm going to just start a little bit, an introduction on Beauty Buddy. And basically what we're doing is a webinar series of all the different questions when we work with brands that they have about different things, how to get into retail, distribution, do you know which beauty shows to go to, what are the shows to take part in, what's online, is there anything? So we just decided to get the experts in to answer the questions that we get all the time. So I'll give you a quick, for anyone who doesn't know who Beauty Buddy is a very quick overview of Beauty Buddy. So basically, Beauty Buddy is a platform and a community of people that create authentic consumer-generated content for brands, which allows the brands to have the rights to use the content in their ads. So we turn your everyday consumers into the brand's greatest marketing tool. So from the smallest brands to the biggest brands, we can do the authentic content and reviews for your community. And why is that important? If you are in the world of social at all, for any company out there, it's all about authentic content at the moment. The influencers, yes, are still have a powerful reach as well. But the authentic content is what the consumers are looking for, and not the scripted. So as part of the community, our community give us all their profiles and we match them with the brands. So your product gets sent directly to the person who should be your buyer to try the product and to review it and to share it on social media. In return for that, they get points on our app that can plant trees, donate to charities, or give them vouchers. So there is stats behind, obviously, UGC with an increase in 29% in conversion when UGC is present, and 92% of consumers trust recommendations from friends. But we will always say, yeah, you might trust recommendations from friends, but they might not be the right recommendations because we don't all have the same skin. So here's some of the stats that have been brought out, and it's as you can see, the UGC is 12 times more engagement than any other type of content, whether that's brand content or influencer content. And those stats are universal now, they're not just us. So that is what we do. We do market research as well, new product development, but our community is based in Ireland and the UK. And you can connect with me after this or directly. So thank you very much. So we're going to give everybody just a few minutes to explain what they do. I'm going to move on to Faye. I have some, Faye, what would you like me to share?
I think maybe if we share the sample attendee list first, just because it's got the best visuals on, but while you're doing that, Wendy, I'll just give a little.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm Faye. I'm the founder of Beauty Bulb. We are 9 years old. We're a team of 12 experts, and we help brands to get stocked, scaled, and seen in a nutshell. Prior to founding Beauty Bulb, I was at QVC for 7 years. I was global sales director at Tangle Teaser for 7 years, which is where I actually came across Mark and his shows originally. And then following that, I was in private equity, and then I founded Beauty Bulb as a way to help brands, beauty and wellness brands really, in a very dynamic, digital first and really a cost effective way. So we generally work with small to medium sized beauty and wellness brands, and we will typically do 2 things for them. We will either connect them to our large global network. So we have a network now of around 1,200 retailers and distributors globally, which we're really proud of. And that's indie retailers, mid-tier online pure play retailers, right through to the global giants and the really well-known multi-territory distributors. So that's one thing we do. And then the other thing we do is our team of experts, ex-sales directors, we help brands to drive growth, to launch, to scale through the channels that we open for them or their chosen retail channels. That could be Amazon, Sephora, Space & K, distributors, Zalando, Ulta. And then last September, as a way to kind of complement and enhance what we do, we launched Beauty Bulb Live. And Beauty Bulb Live, we're about to do our second show this year on September the 25th. And it is a 24-hour global, virtual, high octane networking experience, which is all online, which means that, you know, as long as you're free on September the 25th, you can join our trade show from your home, your office, your sun lounger. We actually did have somebody on a sun lounger last year. And it's a world first. It's the world's first beauty virtual trade show. It's designed to be dynamic. It's designed to give options to the brands that maybe can't afford to do multiple physical trade shows, or they're just starting out and they can't afford to do one physical trade show. But it was created really to give our brand network a really strong, streamlined, cost-effective option when it comes to connecting with our vast global network. And just quickly looking at the show last year, we had 200 retailers and distributors attending the event, which we were really proud of. We made 5,000 connections in the one day, and 8,000 messages were exchanged during the day. Just on the screen here, you can see, thanks, Wendy. Boots had their own booth, which was fantastic. We actually do have this year a whole retailer floor, which I'll come on to in a little bit, but this is what your booth can look like. So in a real whistle stop tour, brands can pay £995. They secure their booth, they then design it in about 60 to 90 minutes. So everything is in there, your decks, your press, your awards, your PR, your links, your socials, your website, your FAQs, everything that a retailer or distributor could possibly need to see is embedded in that virtual booth. You can just see a few reviews on the screen at the moment from some retailers and distributors that attended last year. And it's actually just, yeah, we're really proud of it. It's immersive, it's exciting. You have an avatar, you can have multiple team members manning your booth throughout the day, because of course, I mean, you can't be there for 24 hours. I don't think anyone can do that. So lots of our brands took it in shifts, so their teams were maybe doing 3-4 hour chunks each. But in terms of how it works, a real step-by-step guide. You can see a really, really great brand booth on there on the screen right now. Brands, you secure your booth for £995. You design it in 60 minutes, add all of the information that I've already mentioned. You log in on the day, anytime from 8 AM British time on the 25th of September, and you're then visible and you're able to network with over 200 retailers and distributors. And of course, we expect this year to exceed last year's show. We're working really hard on getting some really big numbers in terms of attendees. But you can chat live, you can message, you can video call, you can phone call. You can arrange meetings, you can arrange to send samples, all live, all during the show. If you are working and you're a really busy founder and you can't sit at a show for 24 hours, that's okay. You get a notification every time somebody interacts with you on your booth. So you'll get a little bell go off. So if you're busy on your emails and you want to kind of have this on in the background, that is fine too. We announced the retailers throughout the day. So as the different time zones woke up last year, it was really exciting because obviously China were there from the get-go, but then as we got to 2-3 p.m, Ulta, Sephora, etc. started to arrive. Oh, thanks, Wendy. This is actually a really great slide in terms of some of our partners and some of those testimonials that you can see on the screen. And I should definitely mention that CW UK, the British Beauty Council, Department of International Trade, Beauty Matter from the US, and The Connection and 18 Keys, which is a homeless charity, are all partnered with us this year on the event, and they were partnered with us last year on the event as well. So we announced the retailers. We have a retailer floor this year, which is really exciting. So although there'll be over 200 there, we're going to give 30 retailers the opportunity to have their own booth, which means brands, rather than just waiting for the retailers to come to you, you can go to them and you can give them your information. You can leave all of your items in their swag bag. They'll have a little bag that they take away, digital bag, obviously, that they take away from the show. And you also have access to speakers. So we have some really incredible industry speakers throughout the day. They're all pre-recorded and they will be live for 1 month after the show has ended, so that you'll be really busy on your booth. So you won't probably have the time to be attending those, but you can watch them at your leisure after the show is finished. But I think in terms of, I'll just quickly whiz through the pros of it, and then I'll stop talking because I'm conscious of time. But obviously cost, $995 compared with a stand build is a significant saving. Time, minimal setup, 1 day at the show versus an hour booth setup. Attendee transparency. So we share all the retailers that are coming to our show, and we're sharing them and announcing them on our Instagram as we're adding them. And it's a sustainable way to do business, which is actually really at the core. It's one of our major brand pillars. So it's across everything we do, but it really fits with that. In terms of resource and logistics, obviously, it's a really effective way to use resource. You can join from anywhere you like in the world. It's got global reach. So you could be sat at home on your sofa talking to an amazing retailer in Australia. We've tried to keep it really focused. So it's brands, retailers and distributors, and about 10 service providers that actually we think can give a lot back to our brands. So it really is high octane networking. You're not going to be approached all day by service providers, which is some feedback that we receive from the brands. And we thought that was really important for what we're trying to do. Obviously, you have the digital auditorium, so you can watch the speakers. And I think that one of the things that we loved most about the show was how we could track the data. So we could, after the show, download all the messages, all of the conversations. We could track all of the retailer and distributor behavior, look at all the booth visits. And of course, that helps with extended engagement and follow up. And as we move towards a kind of AI powered model, as the months and years continue, that functionality is only going to become greater. So I hope I've just talked a lot there. So I hope that gives you a really good oversight. And I'm obviously really happy to answer any questions a little bit later on. Thank you.
Brilliant, Faye. Thanks a million. And sorry, before I should have said at the beginning, I just presume everyone knows. So to ask your questions, you will see the 9 little dots on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and you will be able to go in, and there's a Q&A there, and you can put all your questions in there. Apologies for not saying that earlier. So I'm going to pass you over to Mark. I'm going to give Mark a little bit of an intro because I sent a little bit of an intro on Mark. So he is the founder and CEO of the Professional Beauty Group, which supports the professional beauty, hair, spa and aesthetics communities through its exhibitions, conferences, media and awards. The company has operated for many years in the United Kingdom, Ireland, India, South Africa, United Arab Emirates, and has recently added France and Spain to its portfolio. Brands include Salon International, Professional Beauty, and the World Spa and Wellness Convention, Aesthetic Medicine, and Hairdressers Journal International. So, Mark, you're not really doing that much in your spare time, huh?
Well, I think what Faye does, I've not seen it, but it sounds really interesting. Our events, there's a power in face-to-face. So they're different and complementary items. With Salon International, we've got last year we had 33,000 buyers over 3 days. And you've got somebody coming, if you were exhibiting, they can touch, smell, try your products and your services. They can look in the whites of your eyes and say, actually, do I want to do business with Mark? No, I'd rather do business with Faye. I like her vibe better. You can really feel who you're doing business with, and you can feel that is really important. So that is the power of face-to-face. And as you say, we do that. We've just announced with Professional Beauty, London is now moving to from March next year to October to sit alongside Salon International. So 2 events for the beauty salon industry and the hair salon industry, separately promoted but opposite each other. And that will be the largest gathering for professionals in Europe in the autumn. We expect an audience of 45,000. And you will meet there the boss of Four Seasons, or the boss of Marion Oriental, right the way down to a home-based therapist or hairdresser. And of course, our core audience, we serve and champion the salon sector and the clinic sector, the professional treatment sector. So way back to COVID, when in the UK, our government was opening retail and didn't allow salons, we were absolutely championing having people on the radio and TV saying, look, salon's important. So we want to defend and champion and celebrate the salon professional, and the spa professional and the clinic professional. So in Ireland, in April next year, we will have Professional Beauty and Hair, which is very focused on the hair and beauty salon sector. And alongside that, aesthetic medicine for the clinics. That's in April next year. In London, said in our big mega event will be in October next year, and Salon International in October this year. So if you're in the hair sector, that's something you should look for. We have a summit where we get together owners of the business, only expecting 1,200 visitors in March next year. And if you're breaking into India, we're number 1 in India, lots of events. And there we just had an event in Delhi, which had 18,000 visitors. We'll have 23,000 in Mumbai. We're in South Africa, in Joburg, in the early September, in UAE in February, France, in Paris. We have a spa event in June next year, and in Spain we've got the largest event in Barcelona, also in April, connecting the hair and beauty sectors. And we have media, print magazine, but huge, significant online following and significant digital reach across our brands. And now we're here to talk about events. The issue that Faye raised is they can be expensive face-to-face. So I accept that. And what we try and do is incorporate brands so that you can take part from around £1,300, euros. And we champion the smallest to the largest brands. So sure, you'll have people spending tens of thousands of pounds, euros on their stands. But what we like to do is remember the visitor, he or she wants what's new as well as what's established. So we will champion you in the months, typically 3 months, can be 4, can be 2, of putting you out, connecting you with buyers, shouting you across social, print, digital, emails, so that people know that you're there. So we've also managed the on costs of building a stand. So we're encouraging all sorts. We've got packages where you can come and it's all done, beautifully made, bespoke for you, all in one cost. And I want to stress that we look after some household names that your readers will know, to some new entrants, and champion each of them individually for lots of reasons. Because I said our buyers want to meet what's new, but also today's small brand is tomorrow's big brand. Yeah. So we want to champion them, their growth. And I've seen many of our customers, they will say, not all of them, they will say, actually, I grew my business on the back of your shows, and that's really, really heartwarming. So it's about connecting people, and you have that magic face-to-face connection, which involves a little bit extra effort, but I would argue gets a little bit extra reward.
Yeah, and I have to agree with some of what Mark said, and I think I've been to Mark shows, I've exhibited with brands at Mark shows, and I agree. And I think there are some types of brands, some industries, some categories where you know, if you're selling like a device or a product or a service that requires like real deep education, then absolutely physical events are where you need to be. And I think that's exactly what obviously Professional Beauty Group does really, really well. I think part of what we have tried to offer, we're in the consumer space, so it is a little bit different. We're talking to your Boots, your Liberty, your Space and K, your Ulta, your Zalando, your Stockman, your Kicks, your Farmers in New Zealand. So it's a slightly different channel. But of course, if you're talking about the professional industry, physical shows are phenomenal. And same, it's something like fragrance, you know, it needs to be like touched and smelled in real life. I think what we have found from talking to our brands is within the consumer space, the buyers, they're so busy, and they are, I mean, the market is so saturated. And so there's never been like a harder time to get through to a buyer via email. And so I think what we have found and what we try to do with Beauty Bob Live, the show, is to give brands an opportunity to, you know, if you pitch to a buyer, it can take anywhere between 5 and 20 times to get through. If you're a founder, you know, managing, wearing many hats, doing all the different things from the sales to the operations to the marketing in your brand. I think what we're trying to do is give them that repeated visibility and help them with that persistent approach, which is definitely needed in the consumer channel. But I do agree with a lot of Mark says, and I'm an energy person, so I really, when it comes to like a distributor, for example, you can't meet a distributor and decide to meet with work with a distributor at an online trade show. It's like a marriage. So you need to get over there. Go on.
I think sadly, Wendy, you're not going to get Faye and I arguing much because they are complementary. And I think what you do, Faye, it sounds fantastic, and you'll connect people all over the world. We, of course, get people from all over the world at some of our events, but it's a different thing. And I think they're very complementary. And as you say, Faye, you're looking at the retail multiple sector, whereas the core of our audience are salons, spas and clinics. And obviously they're distributors that serve those markets.
Yeah.
A lot of people will exhibit at, say, Salon International to reach the distributor for Europe or the UK in that hair care brand.
Just on that, when you were talking about that you're kind of on the different sides or whatever, when we were at the Professional Beauty Show in London and Ireland, a lot of the brands we felt were going down towards consumer as well. So they were definitely, there was obviously some that you would need obviously training, and you need the, you know, it can't be just sold. But a lot of the brands seem to be bringing out like a consumer piece along with the clinics. They're opening their markets a bit more to direct to consumer. Do you find that, Mark?
I think some brands definitely have a consumer range and a professional range. That's one thing. Other brands will have their ranges, and they won't necessarily be professional only. So in other words, they'll go through the retail channel and the salon channel. So absolutely, you do find that. We champion the professional.
Yeah.
So we want to. So yes, we won't stop you exhibiting with us if you have a brand that does both. But we do turn out, and sometimes people sneak in, but we will not let a brand, say from China, exhibit unless they've got their EU or UK credibility and a distributor in the UK, unless that brand is only there to look for distributors. We will not. We turn down quite a lot of exhibitors. We want it as a professional meeting place. So, you know, it can be lonely running a salon business. I'm not saying that a salon owner, she doesn't have any friends, but it's often that, you know, she's running a business. It's tough running a small business. And we, as well as having an update on the trends, and yes, if I'm looking to source a new machine, you want to see and touch that machine, but it's also a catch up on with my fellow salon owners to see what they're doing. And people meet, and we have facilities so that you can share ideas, as well as get a lot of in-person education as well. So it's a community, and we champion that salon owner community, which is in the UK, we've just had a huge national insurance rise, which is really affecting lots of salon owners. We're campaigning as best we can with the government to take that into account in their policies going forward, and help with apprentices and help with the tax regime, reduce VAT, for instance, in the UK on treatments, if not the products. So, we champion the salon owner and the therapist or hairdresser that works from home, are professionally trained, of course.
One of the questions that was sent in was, actually, you touched on it there, was the community piece about, first of all, it was like building or going to a show and building your stand and standing there and not knowing really who's coming or who they are, or if you're on, if you're the stand person on the stand and not the visitor. It's like, how do they stand there? And it could be, as you said, it could be the Four Seasons going past, or Galgorm. You don't know who these people are, and they're just walking.
No, I first of all, you can scan their badge. Secondly, you can, in our system, you can reach out to people and book meetings in advance or at the event. But I do agree, you do. I've gone on to stands where somebody's rabbited to me, not knowing that I'm the CEO of Professional Beauty, rabbiting to me selling stuff, and I'm not in the market to buy. And that is a challenge. It's a great celebration, because you get that serendipitous, I can't even speak, instant meeting. I bump into Faye. Oh wow, she's the buyer of X, and I can connect with her. And yes, you'll also bump into a student that may not be ready to buy your product for a few years, and you do have to have a mechanism to deal with that. And I do agree that is a challenge. It's also a celebration of, you just don't know who you're going to get. What we do, we actively discourage consumers. We turn away, in our Irish show, we turned away 1,500 people, believe it or not, who wanted to come, who were obviously not in the trade. And we do have a badging system where you can identify who that person is, and, as I say, connect with them pre, during, and post. But that is part of it. You do have to have your best face on. It's not for the shy and retiring. You do need to. But I want to make that. You don't have to be a super salesperson. You just have to believe in your product. And that's the great thing. There are some people who maybe aren't instantly getting on a podium and speaking, but because they know and love their product, that says it all. And that's what you can see face to face. Oh, I know Wendy, she loves this. I buy her as well as the products.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think that in terms of like that retailer pitch, that's one little piece of advice that I would give is be really mindful of this, whether you're at a virtual show or a physical show, be really mindful of the amount of time you're going to have with that person. You may not know who it is, but you really need to nail your pitch, and everybody in your team needs to nail your pitch and really just focus on your USPs and the real special parts about your brand. So yeah, and I think if you do know who you're speaking to, and you do figure out who the buyer is, having a few different pitches, so that if you are talking to a salon group, for example, at Mark's show, or if you're talking to, say, Liberty at my show versus Boots at my show versus a salon owner at Mark's show, they're going to be very different pitches depending on the type, the size, and the person that you're speaking to within that business. So maybe having like a 3-tiered approach to your pitch, if you do know who you're talking to, would be a really sensible piece of advice that we share with our brands.
Yeah, I second that.
I think one of the questions as well was, what do you see as a success for someone who does take part in your shows, whether it's virtual or online? I know for every stand, they probably have their own, what it feels like was a success, but what would you expect from them to walk away?
I think it very much depends on the customer, but most of our exhibitors want business.
Yeah.
So some will want to sell X number of machines off their stands, but most will want to open accounts with a distributor, with a salon or salon group, as a result, either there or as a result of being there. I judge the show, any show, on
Yeah.
what my exhibitors say and says, look, we've met these leads and I expect to convert X number. Or if it's sometimes it's a high end, they're selling 50K, 1,000 worth of lasers. Some exhibitors say, I've actually sold 3 to new people off the stand. They've had a very, very happy show. But sometimes it's a small brand whose maybe opening order is only a few £100. They will need many more of those. So it really does depend on what the client wants. And we do our best to shout about her. And I want, whatever the size of their business, it's important that your readers know, yes, of course, it's great to have those big brands and we love them, but our visitors want the new and upcoming brands. And particularly since COVID, a lot of stand sizes are smaller. It's more sustainable. We used to throw away the carpet. We don't do, no, there's much more recycling going on. The booth and the stands are more manageable. So that cost element is more manageable than many people might think.
Great. Thank you.
And then for us, it's connections and engagement. So it's very, very clear cut in terms of how we measure it. And we have all that data, of course. So for us, it's those B2B relationships, those B2B conversations being open that are going to allow a brand to open a new significant retail channel or a new significant distributor channel that's going to really, really transform their business. A distributor relationship in a huge territory with a population of 200 million can transform, just that one connection alone can transform that business in the 2, 3, 5 years ahead. We're obviously not looking to make one connection, but I think it is about them getting meaningful connections and also the visibility. So we loved this. We spent days after the show going to each booth and looking at all of the visitors who engaged. If somebody went back, if QVC went back to a booth 3 times, but they didn't send a message, why didn't they? Then we were able to go and do another push on their behalf and say, look, we know you went to this booth 3 times. Like, here's the details. Here's the founder details. We actually think this is a match. And so for us, it's absolutely those B2B conversations being opened, which may have taken that brand, if they were doing that themselves on LinkedIn, via Instagram, trying to find the details online, it might have taken them weeks or months, or they may never have found that right email address. So it's access as well, but also that engagement piece. So just being able to see which buyers engage with which brands, feed that back to the brands, try and do some work behind the scenes after the show, so that they feel that they're getting that visibility and the repetition, which is key. That persistence is key.
And just on that, you were talking about having a retailer space this year.
Yes.
Do you see that being inundated with every single brand trying to?
Yes, that's what we're going to encourage. So we had a marketplace space last year, which was purely for marketplaces, so people like Debenhams, Coupang, Superdrug, Boots, etc. But we've widened it up this year. And so what we want to do is give, obviously, the high impact networking during the show. That's why we have it in a 24-hour time frame. But then really great that all of the brands that exhibit get to go and leave all of their important information in the shopping bag, if you like, the virtual shopping bag of those retailers. So if Boots are at the show and they've got 3 of their team members there, they could be sending, throughout the week that follows, they can be sending all of that information to their new business team to review. So they can then send that on, pass that on to the normal kind of new brand team that maybe aren't at the show. So there's just more scope for discovery in a short space of time. And we are going to encourage every brand to get in that retailer floor and make sure they share their information with all of the retailers that are relevant. But we're starting to announce that at the moment, and we'll keep announcing who's taking a retailer booth. But Boots is definitely one of them. Just My Look is another. French Pharmacy is another. But there will be 30. There will be probably around 30 by the time we're done.
And another question that had come in is there any possibility of the work by both of you to be done? For example, some retailers or some hotels are looking for a certain item that's missing from their table. So they might be missing a serum or vitamin C, or they might be missing a you know, a new aromatic, you know, for the spas or whatever, is there any way that, the question was basically, can you say that this is what they're looking for? So you're not wasting your time. So if you're like a brand that's like a vitamin A brand, and you have like Sephora or Boots, or you have someone goes, we do not want another vitamin A. We don't. We're not even looking. Like, is there any way that you can like have the brands or have the distributors or say what they're looking for?
Yes.
It save people time.
Yes. So
excitement, I suppose, if a brand or a hotel reach out to you.
Yeah, it's a really, really good question, and something that we will be using AI to drive as the years unfold and our shows develop. We are already tracking the different category buyers that are coming to the show, so we can share, you know, if a fragrance brand comes to us, we can tell them exactly which fragrance buyers are coming from certain retailers. We are also asking the retailers and distributors the categories that are noteworthy to them, just again, so that we've got an idea as we're doing outreach, as we're speaking to the brands that we're onboarding, which retailers are looking for, you know, particular products, ingredients, categories, whatever it may be. And then what we will do as the shows unfold, we're going to be doing 2 shows a year going forwards, is we will be using the data and gathering data to allow a more in-depth description of all of those things that you just mentioned, Wendy.
What we do, Wendy, is first of all, the visitor, she can search quite detailed on our Show Hub platform if she's looking for, say, a particular skincare or equipment or salon furniture. So that very much the visitor can search other visitors and connect with them. And you get an online showcase as an exhibitor which you categorize. So if I do aromatherapy, if I do particular type of skincare, I can categorize that, and buyers then can search. And you can also reach out an exhibitor to search other buyers. And so that is a relatively new feature in the last few years. And what we do as part of the package is that most people, whether you're a young one-person company or have a whole sales team, they'll have hard to get customers. So they can give us a list that they might know the salon group and department store buyer. We're not as strong as Salon Spay is, but we get department stores because they want to see what's new as well. And so we will invite them on your behalf to the event, and sometimes we'll show them in, sometimes it will just be a glass of Prosecco. So whether you're a very small company or a very big company, you get a lot of the package, to the VIP package and the promotional package. We're promoting your brand, and my sales team will say, if you engage properly, you can get the value back on your stand in the pre-promotion.
Yeah.
So there are lots of touch points.
And I think that's a very important piece. Is it's up to the brands as well to do their research. It's not about just turning up and showing up on the day, you know, not maybe setting up the show hub with your information, or not going in a few weeks before, not making any connections or any meetings. I think the due diligence as well is on the brand shoulders to, you know, don't be connecting with the wrong people or just everybody pebble dashing it, like, you know, be very specific.
It's like anything, that's the more you put in, the more you get out. And you know, Faye makes a good point. You do have to put in a bit of work more if you do a trade event, a live trade event. You do, but and what I would advise anybody, whether you exhibit with us or anybody else, is get in to be demanding with your account manager. I've got our head of Ireland here, Linda Horan, and talk to her. She will champion you and get you coverage. Talk to our marketing team, talk to our editorial team. We are there. We are painting a canvas, and you as the exhibitor are part of that canvas. So help us draw in the visitor to your stand. But it does involve getting off your backside and doing some work, you know, but that's all part of the fun.
Yeah, and I would just add to that, Wendy, like this is a really simple thing, and like I don't want to teach people how to suck eggs, but I've obviously gone to many, many trade shows throughout my career, and I think like just don't underestimate the impact of, and this is virtual or physical show, like your visuals, like really you need someone that's got a design eye. Like if you've got 10 awards, they need to be on your booth front and center. If you are the leader in what you do, if you've got some amazing stockists already, if you've got some amazing press and amazing quotes, and you can pull out these standout words on your virtual or physical booth, like they all need to be there. And I've lost count of the times where I've gone to a booth and they've handed me this really beautiful like two-sided leaflet, and I've gone, oh my God, they've won this award, they're stocked in like this incredible retailer. Wow, I didn't know that they were actually in that market. And then I look at their booth and I think, oh, okay, like imagine if some people are going around and doing this just from a visual standpoint. So I'd say that is really key. And then another piece of advice I would give, whether it's virtual or physical trade show, is every single touch point, from them coming to your stand to the marketing materials to the conversation to you being prompt, succinct, but then the follow-up. It's you're your brand. So if you're sending samples after the show, if you're going to meet with them, like be on time, be succinct, be mindful they've got lots of other meetings, but also get their details, send samples. Those samples need to go on time. They need to be delivered to the right desk within a couple of days. They need to look beautiful. They need to be all singing, all dancing, and just so they get a real like feeling of who you are, and like that you're really kind of, you've got integrity and follow up.
And just from the live shows since COVID, have you noticed that it's all back, or is it bigger, or is the sustainability of traveling and all of that sustainability coming into stopping people from?
I don't think sustainability. I could argue that having, rather than you visit 10 different salons in one place, it's more sustainable if they all come to you. So yeah. I think there is pieces. What we had particularly pre-COVID, we were a wasteful bunch, and that has definitely changed. So there's a lot more recycling, a huge emphasis by the whole industry, not just our show, but all of them, to be mindful of that. So there's a lot that is, the waste is massively cut back. Yeah. And as I said, made one point, we recycle carpet, we recycle virtually everything that we can, and the materials we use. And yes, I would say that, yeah, you can say that getting in a car or a train or a plane to come to an event uses a lot of CO2, but it is an efficient way of meeting. Yeah. And I've noticed in some of our events that the numbers are much higher than COVID. Others are less, but typically, so in our beauty and hair events are slightly down pre-COVID in terms of visitors. But what we found is the quality of the person is, she is coming because there's a reason. I think we're all a bit more judicious about where we spend. We don't probably go out quite that often, same amount to that restaurant, unless it's got to be an excellent restaurant to go. And I think the show has to be there has to tell you why you should come. And there's we have huge amount of networking, education, as well as the brands there. And we notice that the buyers who do come, be they a one-woman band or a big chain, they come with a purpose. So that tends to be more positive.
Yeah, and I think just to add to that, I think what we are seeing is it's a mix in terms of not just trade shows, how people choose to do them, but doing business. It is part virtual. Face-to-face is still important. I have a lot of new business meetings still face-to-face, but actually probably 75% of them now are done initially via Zoom. And I think similar with trade shows, a lot of the brands we work with are small to medium-sized brands who would love to go to a physical trade show and probably do choose one a year, but they're not in a position to do that maybe 3 or 4 times a year. So it's which geographical location is right for them. Can they work globally if they're just doing one trade show in one territory? So I'd say, I think what's really good about having both options is giving people the mix. And I think the sustainability, it does matter, but I think probably above that is the brands we're talking to is the cost and the resource, because a lot of them are small founder-led teams who are wearing all the hats and being away from their business and having to fly somewhere. It takes a lot from them. So doing that 5 times a year might not be doable, but doing it once a year and then doing it with us once a year is probably like a really nice balance for them, perhaps.
Yeah, I'm just going to go and I have more questions here, but I'm just going to check. So we have not a question, but as someone with a chronic illness, I really love this idea. It allows us spoonies to have more access, even if our illness is flaring up. I really appreciate how much more accessible this would make things. I presume that's for the virtual, to be able to do that. And then what's the biggest mistake small beauty brands make when approaching trade shows, online or in person, and how can we avoid it?
I would say for us, it's some of the brands where they do a show, they maybe don't look at the full cost of the show right out of the gate. They might purchase a stand, or that's great what Mark said about having the fully finished stands. I think that's a really smart option for the smaller brands. But I think they get to the show and they've not maybe factored in the resource they might need to pay for, the design, the travel, being in a hotel for 3-4 nights, being away from their business for a week. I think that's probably the mistake that we hear about the most.
I would say that know what your objective is. So what are you trying to get out of what you're doing? Be clear in what your objective is. Communicate that to your account manager or the person, that the organizer, and get him or her to really promote your brand in advance and shout about it. Also be yourself. And like anything, ask questions. So you'll come across in a trade show people that aren't relevant for you yet. So don't spend 20 minutes with them. And if you can afford it, have somebody with you to filter out the person that isn't right for you, so that you're ready for the other one. But I would stress that we very much, in all our shows, no matter where we have in the world, our majority of our clients are that owner manager. So we champion those people, and we'll have a package for everyone. But I would say the biggest thing is engage, be demanding actually with us, and make sure we give you value, because we want to give it to you, because you help us make a reason why somebody visit a show, because you've got something new to say.
Yeah, and actually, this is actually physical show suggestion for me. But make friends with all the other stands, because as soon as someone finds that Boots buyer or that Holland and Barrett's buyer, you want to know about it. So then it goes through it like a little ripple through that physical show. So make friends with everyone, and then make sure you guys all know who's walking the show. So you, like Mark says, be really specific, and then you can find that person and get that 5 or 10 minutes with them.
And then we're wrapping up in a minute, but we have, what is something that is actually for you memorable, like standing out? Is there an experience in a virtual booth, or is there something in a physical booth that catches your eye? Like what would you do if you were doing your own stand?
So so a virtual, you mean with the design? I would focus on like your favorite imagery that's had high impact on social. If you've got some imagery that's really gone down well on your social channels, bring that into the show and have that as part of your design. I think having some descriptive words that are really championing your brand on one of your panels, awards, press logos, retailer logos, anything that a retailer and distributor is going to look at your booth and say, okay, this person is gaining traction because look at these 5-star reviews, look at that they're featured in Vogue or wherever it may be, and they're going to click on that booth. And when they click on that booth, the whole of your brand story is going to open up on them, and then they're going to be able to see everything, like even more images, even more information, all of your links. And then all they've got to do is click one button and say, I want to put this in my shopping bag, and then they take it away, and you've then left all of that information with that buyer. So your most impactful visuals and logos, should be at the front and center of that design.
With a physical event, I would be very clear of what your message is, and keep your don't try and say too much. What are your core messages, and keep that visual clean and get that message across. Don't sometimes people put millions of different things, and you've got to catch that eye as that buyer walks by. And as I repeat, engage with the organizer beforehand and be yourself. If you are passionate about that brand, the face-to-face event, you can transmit that by just being you, and you will get buyers gel for that and buy that.
And when you're saying that, which is obviously, I totally believe in, that when you're doing business, it's great to have that in-person connection. How, Faye, online do you feel that somebody can get their personality across, and their passion across through imagery and stuff?
I think the two main things to say is actually with the virtual event, you can't just rely on imagery. So you really need to you can embed videos onto your booth with us. So I think it's really important, if you're a founder-led brand, make a 2-minute video, 1-minute video, just something that's going to give them, you can read energy through a video. They can get a sense of who you are, like how passionate you are. And I think, video call, you can video call at the show. So even if it's just a 2-minute, hey, just wanted to say hi on video call, I'm going to follow up with some samples and here's our information, please put it in your virtual shopping bag. I think doing those two things at the show is really important. But then, of course, what you're trying to do, make that connection to get another in-person or like more detailed Zoom meeting and get those samples sent out so that you can follow up properly.
Brilliant. Mark, do you have anything you would like to add or that you weren't asked before?
I'm biased. I run in face. I had somebody at the last show in London in tears because she said, my daughter was going to leave the profession and she came to the show and she's staying. And she was in tears and thanked us, the team, for doing this. It's the power of getting to see somebody and meeting them is very, very strong. And I would just reiterate, it's that you asked me what is the best booth. You can have lots of interaction, you can have demonstrations. It's got to be right for what you're doing, what you're trying to sell. Be yourself and make the organizer work for you, because we're up for it and we want you are providing us something interesting or new to sell, and engage properly. Like in anything, whether you're doing Faye's event or ours, you need to think about what your purpose is, what your message is across. Get your team. No egg and cress sandwiches on the stand, please. I've seen that. And try not to get too drunk the night before, so you've got a clear breath. But it's that ability to transmit you and your team's passion for your product or service that we're about, and you will meet people from all over the world, and we're very keen on you coming back and making sure you do, and to look after you so that you do come back with us.
And Faye, do you have anything you'd like to? I know you've given us a discount code.
That's for your
show.
Yeah, anybody who wants to join following the webinar over the next week or so, we are happy to give a 15% discount. Just quote Beauty Buddy if you'd like that. I know, I just feel really proud of what we've achieved, really passionate about what we're doing. There certainly is obviously no replacement for that in-person meeting, but I think what we're doing is giving brands who are managing the rising costs of manufacturing, of marketing, of running all the things that come with running a business, we are giving them a really phenomenal way to get a lot of exposure in a very short space of time and get a lot of visibility. And yes, connections and new sales, opening new sales channels is the goal. But I think as a brand that's, whether you're just starting out or you're established and looking to focus on, say, the UK market, it's a really affordable way to get a huge amount of visibility within some really, really key players, all of the major retailers across the world in one day. So yeah, I guess that's us in a nutshell.
Well, we have just one more question. We'll let it in, and it says, Faye, you said to make friends with other booths when it's in person. Will that be possible before and after the online trade show? How long can you access it?
Yeah, so on the day itself we have a chat room, so of course you're not going to be like having cups of teas together in person, but you can absolutely like share any wins. Similarly, you know, people were asking technical questions on the day, so that was all able to be shared in the live chat room that's visible to everybody. So that was one way that we're able to connect people. And we have talked about having a forum again, like, you know, this is the second show we've done. And so we're always really open to, we got all the brand and retailer feedback last year. We've made improvements. We're really happy to do that again after this show.
Brilliant. Well, we thought it would be a battle of the booths, but actually I think now Mark and Faye are probably best friends now, like, so that did.
Well, I certainly want to connect with Faye afterwards, definitely.
We
Sadly,
need to meet you.
And sadly we didn't have these scraps. I think both events are very complementary, and they're different markets and different things, and they both have their place.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really appreciate you both taking the time, and we will be editing and sharing this in our newsletters and with more of the brands. And we're delighted to have you both. And I've been to both, and I'll probably be back to both. So Linda,
Well,
be glad
thank
to
you
hear.
for the opportunity, Wendy, and nice to meet you, Faye.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much. And Mark, hopefully we can have another conversation after the webinar.
And anybody who wants to connect directly with Mark or Faye, please feel free, or Linda, who is in Ireland. So thank you, everyone, and we will see you for our next webinar in 3 weeks. All right, thanks a million. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.